back to another episode of the Iron Plus podcast. Today, Kyle and I are going to be discussing smart gyms. So this is going to be basically anything that connects to your phone, that has a virtual experience, kind of similar to, the last episode. We talked a little bit about virtual training, virtual gyms as well. So we can get right into it. Kyle, what do you have for smart gyms? What's your take on smart gyms?
I think they're definitely for a specific subset of people, meaning they're, if you talk about a home gym or a smart gym, it's definitely not the cheapest thing that you can buy. It's definitely something that's, for people that are looking to, I guess, kind of just spend a lot of money on something, to put it frank, I guess. But overall, I think they're pretty interesting. Like, I was looking at them earlier today when Cam and I decided to do a podcast on them, and you can like some of the technology on them is pretty wild. I think now with the the ability that phones have and how they can connect to TVs, companies are sending and selling things that are compact and in nice looking containers that have so much functionality to them, to where when you connect your phone to the TV and you have their own specific subset of weights, everything's counted from reps to how much weight you should do. It tracks your calories. There's all different types of things you can do with them, and I think that they're kind of becoming more and more popular. I think when we look at maybe over the last 5 or 10 years, the one that really kind of started to kickstart everything was the Peloton. And that was like all the craze during COVID, because it was like an at-home thing that you could do with a little TV that had a personal trainer on it. And I think that was really like the kickstart for what people are calling smart gyms that people can put in their homes.
Now they're having issues; they're just laying people off. But with the Peloton, like I feel like people, it was also a way to kind of escape your surroundings, right? Because you could bike in a bunch of different locations, I believe, around the world. I could be wrong; I never had a Peloton, but Kyle, like, just going back a little bit. With these home gyms, though, now that I think about it more, like, do you feel that it would become an issue for like progressive overload? And I know that some of these home gyms that maybe get attached to your wall, that they have like a couple cables or something that you might be able to adjust the weight, but you're not getting like the full experience of a gym and being able to do the exercise. Because, like, yes, you can do squats, right? You could sit there and do squats, maybe with like a little bit of weight, but like you're never going to have a bar in your back being able to do squats, or like you can't do hack squats. There's a lot of different things, for example, that yes, with these home gyms that you might, it might be convenient, but it's not going to necessarily give you that best workout as like going to a gym and throwing around some iron. Like, what's your take on the progressive overload side of things with these smart gyms?
Yeah, it's definitely different. I mean, with these, you're just looking at, if you just type smart gyms in Google, I mean, the cheapest one that you can see on the screen is $495. So, I mean, they're expensive, and I think it's for people that maybe enjoy working out. Maybe they don't want to go to the gym every single day, but it's something they can do at home that's quick and easy. So I think it's mainly just kind of like like one of those keeping up with the Joneses purchases, where it's like, oh, you see someone that has it and
Right.
they're like, oh, well, now I want that kind of thing. It's definitely not anything groundbreaking. Like, you're not going to get maybe you will. You're not going to, get a drastically improved workout at home with one of these expensive home gyms than you would in the actual gym. Like, there's pros and cons to both, but
I was just thinking the same thing. I was thinking that this is probably like middle to high class, like people that want to be trendsetters.
yeah.
And not necessarily like, they like to be, I would say, like skinny and in shape a little bit, but it's not about putting muscle on. It's about, just having a slender physique opposed to, building muscle. And like, you can still build muscle, don't get me wrong. But I would say it's obviously not going to be the same as walking into a gym and trying to get toned that way. Right. So yeah, I would say that to Kyle's point, like, I mean, these things are expensive too. Like, usually a lot of them start at like $2,000, and they go up because who gets the base model, right? Like it's like you walk onto a car lot. I mean, the odds you walk out with the base price slim to none,
Right, right.
right? So it's like it's going to be. I feel like it's going to be something similar with having one of these, a Peloton, a Mirror, a Tempo, all of these different types of home gyms or home treadmills, especially because like a lot, if not all of them, come with on top of your purchase price a monthly subscription, right? So I know Peloton does. I believe Mirror does as well. You get to unlock like all these new features. Plus, like having the monthly experience, like it's the same thing with the Nordic Track. Like this stuff comes with a membership, and I'm sure that they have a month, 3 months, maybe a year if you're lucky, free before you end up starting to pay for it. But at that point in time, like once you get to that year, you either use it or lose it. If you end up having it free, but yeah, man, I don't know. I think that they are good for small spaces. They're good if you need something quick and convenient, if you don't necessarily want people looking at you. But I personally can't justify $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 on a wall mount for a gym. But that's also just not my cup of tea, right? Like everybody's different. But me personally, like I can't sit on a bike or run on a treadmill, even if the screen has me, biking around the world, or getting on a stairmaster and climbing the Burj, right? The Burj Khalifa, right? Like it doesn't matter to me. Like that's just not my thing. I like the change of scenery. I like actually being able to walk around because like in between sets, like being at the actual gym, like I'm always walking around. So. Yeah, man. But I will say that is there still a trend, as we progress, like and our generation gets older, to live small? Like I know that was a thing, like a big thing, like a year ago or 2 years ago, with people like wanting to, live small. And like Home Depot was selling this $45,000 house that you could live in. Because I will say that like maybe this stuff becomes more popular because where people save money when it comes to, square footage and housing and their gym luxury and their spa luxury, they end up spending on smaller houses, and, just these modern looking wall mounts or Pelotons or treadmills that are, easier to store. But they kind of fit in. You can pull it out whenever you want to, and it's quick and convenient for people. Like, do you see this potentially being a play off of how people live in the future? Like, if they live like in smaller houses, like I'm mentioning, do you see that this could impact the Mirror, the Tempo, like all of these smaller, foldable, modern home gyms?
Yeah, I think with any like with these smart gyms, I personally don't. I think it's more of a upcoming fad than something that'll stick around forever. Like a lot of these are very expensive and they look pretty cool, and it's just one thing to be like, hey, look at this thing I have. So I don't know how much it'll affect them, but
Did you mention the Tempo Studio? I can't quite
yeah,
remember.
so there's a couple. I mean, like the mirrors, the one that Lululemon made, that was like a big one. But I think the one that's the most practical is the Tempo workout home set, where it's less than $500. It's something that looks very modern, and it doesn't take up a lot of space, and you put your phone on the top and connect it to a TV. It's got um, smaller weight plates that I'm not sure how much they go up to, but it's also got dumbbell handles, so you can attach any weight you want on the dumbbell handles and put clips on them and do workouts. It like counts your reps and everything. I think that's probably the most practical one because it's expensive, but it's affordable for anyone that's looking to do a home gym because if you're looking to build a home gym, it's going to be expensive regardless. So it's affordable. It's something that doesn't take up a lot of
Right.
space. It looks modern. And I think it kind of fulfills everything that someone might be looking for when they're looking at doing a home gym.
I will say though, with this, if you are somebody that has little to no patience, I'm going to tell you right now, buying something like the Tempo is going to run you pretty thin quickly because, to Kyle's point, yes, you have some free weights, but you have to change the weights out. And if you're going to be doing an exercise and let's say you start with 5 pounds and you work up 10, 20, or you work down 20, 10, 5, like you're going to have to unscrew, replace the plates, screw them back on. There's a lot that's going to go into. It's not like you're in the gym walking over to the rack and picking up a different weight, right? Like you're going to be in the middle of your exercise, middle of your workout, swapping out the weight. So just keep that in mind if you do something like this, because your patience will start to run thin, especially if you're like in the groove, and you need to be changing weights. You don't want to be sitting there unscrewing, then putting them on, then screwing them back on while you're trying to exercise. It'll get annoying real quick. Other than that, yeah, I mean, a lot of the home gyms or the smart gyms, I would say, are more cardio related. I would say, right? They're bikes, they're treadmills, they're stairmasters, they're like the rowing machines. Yes, you do have, to Kyle's point, you have the mirror, you have the Tempo Studio, you have, let's see here, you have the Nordic Track Vault, which is a 6-foot mirror display that I guess it has, well, that's quite interesting. This one it looks like it has dumbbells stacked within the vault. So that's, I wonder how heavy that thing is. Might have to look it up. But yeah, I mean, everybody's going to be different. Like what I would do, my advice to somebody is to, write down the pros and cons of a virtual, at-home gym, something like the Mirror or the Tempo Studio, versus what you would do at the normal gym. Because depending on your goals, like one or the other might work better for you. So write down pros and cons, weigh the pros and cons of each, and then from there, I would do your best judgment call based off of what you're looking for, budget, end results, your goals, and take it from there. I don't think that, this is necessarily reinventing the wheel, but if you want to setting a trend for $500, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 is quite an expensive trend just to, keep up with the Joneses, as Kyle had mentioned. So, yeah, I would say that me personally, it's not my cup of tea. Kyle, I mean, do you see yourself owning a smart gym?
Not with my current financial status, but maybe in the future.
Maybe in the future. Yeah. It is, it's not really like that affordable for people our age, like 24, 25, especially because, you're either trying to buy a house, or you're buying a Peloton. So, whatever you're feeling. But yeah, I mean, with that said, we can wrap it up there unless you have anything else.
Nope.
As always, thank you for taking the time to listen. We hope that you found value in this episode. If you do end up going with a smart gym of any sort, or if you own something like the Peloton or the Mirror, or the Tempo Studio, feel free to shoot us an Instagram message. We'd love to chat about it. Speaking of, you can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Pinterest, and TikTok at Official Iron Pulse. But don't worry, if you prefer email, we've got you covered. Subscribe to the Iron Pulse Report by visiting shopironpulse.com. And remember, no matter what you do, be all in.